Hi gang, I've got some cool stuff that we're going to play with today. This video is going to be about ActionScript, and then I will make another one for JavaScript, which is requiring Canvas. If you can see, that's Canvas. This is good old ActionScript. They're similar languages based on a standard that was put up by the World Wide Web Consortium, I believe, but it's been around for quite a while. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I already created two buttons, and I'm going to come over here to my library, and I am going to duplicate another one, and I'm going to call this one 3. So I've got another button. I'm just going to click over and drag it here, and it says about, but I don't want that about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on it, and I'm getting into button mode like we did last thing, and this is going to be my text. I better put text, otherwise I'll forget which one's which. Not really, but sounds good to me. And then I am going to change the text in here. Now, you used to be able to stick a button out and then put text over, and the whole button would work, but lately it hasn't, and I cannot figure out why. I'm either doing something very silly, or they changed the way they handle buttons and text. Could be me. So about, and let's go. No. Contact. Oh, it's too big. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to probably drop the font down a little teeny bit. Let's go 45. There we go. Now what I want to also do is while I'm at it, I'm going to do some alignment work. So I want this to be aligned in the middle and then in the center. There we go. So just slides it over just a teeny bit. So now I'm in button mode, so I'm going to jump over here and I am going to drag it up here. And then just like before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my alignment tool and I'm going to match it. And then I'm going to distribute it a little bit there. Still don't like where it's sitting, so I am going to arrow it over using my arrow key, my left arrow key, just to kind of get it there. Just all alignment little garbage. So there we're in good shape there. I'm going to come all the way over here. Now I've got a button layer. Notice that that's the only keyframe that I'm going to have right there. And then this is going to be my content layer. And on the content, while my home is, I'm going to go, oh, this has got to be really big. Let's make it 75. I love Animate. That's my home. Now, if it's still too small, once again, we can just use our transform tool, grab one of the corners and drag it out like that. And then if I wanted to do some rulers and do some alignment there, but this is just going to be quick and dirty, and I'm going to eyeball it. So that is layer 1. I'm going to come over here to layer 4 and make sure you're on the content layer, because earlier today I wasn't paying enough attention and I boo-booed. Let's go cool animation. Now if I want to see how it relates to other ones, I could do onion skinning. Come on, onion skinning. All frames. There we go. Ah, I like that. And I turn it off. So that is my about. And then this is my context, I'm going to go F6. And once again, I'm going to use my text tool to change some of the content. So I'm going to call it email me. You know, it doesn't really matter what the text is. I'm just showing you how this works. So now let's go back and test this out. Control test. Well, that's really annoying. So what we want to do is we want to add another layer for ActionScript to manage what we're doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click right there. It's the very first frame, and I'm going to go Window, Actions. Now I could manually write in the code, but I always typo stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Window, Code Snippets. And there's going to be one for ActionScript, one for HTML5, which is fine. I'm going to click on here, and I want where is my stop? Oh, there it is. Stop at this frame. There we go. Now, notice that it's got a /* here. This is just a comment. I'm going to get rid of the comment because I know what it's doing. And what this is going to allow me to do with this ActionScript is it's going to allow me to stop. So I'm going to go File, Save, and so then I go Control, Test. There. But now I've got these cool little buttons, but they don't do anything. I'm going to have to resolve that problem. So come back here once again. Make sure you're on the first frame. It's really easy to accidentally get on the wrong frame, and I can't tell you the number of times I was in a hurry, not paying attention, and oops. Now, it doesn't matter that it's not in the right order, but I always kind of like to get it in the right order, so I get my stop here at the top. And then what I'm going to do is, oh, you know what? I don't think I've done this yet. I'm pretty sure I haven't done it yet. So let's go here. This is something very important. I haven't shown you that I named this home_btn. That's the button's name. I got about_btn. And here I don't have a name, so I'm going to call it contact_btn. Now, do you need the _btn? No, it's just kind of a layover from one of the older versions, and I just got in the habit of it. And it's really easy to see that relating it to other items that I want to do. So that way, by seeing _btn, I know I've got a button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select home. You know, I'm just going to close this for now. It's in the way. And I am going to go to frame and stop. So I'm going to double click on that, and then up pops that. And once again, I'm going to get rid of that. I don't want it to go to frame 5 like it's set up there, and that's what that said right there. I want it to go to frame 1. And then I'm going to show you another cool trick. Now, once you change that, make sure you get out of this area, because otherwise you're going to disturb what else you are creating with the others. And what this is saying is _btn. So that's saying, oh, I got a button. What am I going to do this button? I'm going to sit and listen. So the code is listening for something to happen. And that something to happen is a mouse event, which is a click. Click, go to stop at frame. And that's what it's telling me to do. So I'm just kind of creating some mechanism for my button to actually work. So I've got that. I'm going to go to about. Make sure I'm still on that frame. About. I'm going to do the same thing again, so I'm just going to double click. There we go. Go to frame and stop, double click, there we go, and it puts it in there. You know, something I've noticed today, I don't know if it's just I think my mouse is playing with me because it's not always recognizing all my double clicks, and it's been really kind of annoying. So now I've got about underscore BTN. It's going to jump to frame 5. Well, I don't want it to go to frame 5. I want it to go to frame 4. Just had to double check to make sure I did that right. So now I'm going to come back here, and instead of 5, I'm going to put 4. And then once again, making sure that I give myself some space, because otherwise it will butcher my code. I'm just going to minimize that. And then I'm going to come over here. I've got my contact selected. I've got contact BTN. Double click on that and delete. And I want to go to frame 8. Double check on that. Come back here. So instead of 5, I need to go to 8. There we go. So I've got all 3 buttons. They're set up. Let's see if it works. Most important thing, Control S. Oh, good story time. I just finished working on a project the other day, and I was really lax, and I hadn't saved it. Something told me to save it, so I saved it, and about 30 seconds later, my whole system crashed, which is a very, very rare occasion because I got a relatively new computer. And I was going, oh man, I almost lost 2 hours of work. I was sweating bullets on that one. So let's go Control Test. So home is fine. About, ooh, cool animations. Home, contact, email me. So there we go. Now let's say that I want to do something slightly different. I'm going to do a go to frame and play. Well, that's going to require me to delete the other one. But before I do that, I want to come over here and I'm going to put in, I need to have an action right there because I'm going to have it stop there. So notice that I am clicking on this frame and I'm going to double click on this, and notice that I'm now in frame 10 and it stops. Well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a keyframe right here for content. I'm going to do an F6. Oh, that's going to be way too quick. Create classic tween. Yes, I know. And what I'm going to do is click on this keyframe. I'm going to use my tool like that, and I am going to hold down the shift key and make it proportional like that. So it's going to start here. Well, you know what? If I wanted to, I could hit F5 a few times. What I'm going to do is space it out a little bit more. That way when I hit right here, it won't go so fast. My stop moved with me, so that's a good thing. Now let's go Control Test. I know you're thinking something because I'm going to show you. I boo-booed. Click here. Oh, about contact. Well, it's going to and stop, but it's not playing. I got to change the code on that. But home still works, so we're happy with that. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come back to my contact. I got to be back at the very beginning, otherwise it's going to put the action in the wrong spot. And I'm going to go Window, Actions. This is no longer right, so I'm just going to highlight that and hit Delete. I could have manually changed the code on that, but I'm lazy. So I'm going to come here, select it. I don't really need that. Thank you. Accidentally changed that. And I am going to double click. Well, once again, it's going to go to 5. Nope, we want to go to 8. Save it. Control, test. There we go. Now, you notice that I add some frames in there, and that changed kind of the scope of everything, really, because what if I change my mind again? Which, oh, I would never do that. Only all the time. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to click on this frame right here, and I'm going to give that frame a label. And I'm going to call it my home. I'm going to click right there, and I'm going to call it About Me. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go See Me, because I'm too lazy. CME. So what I just did is label names. So now if I want to add some frames, it won't screw things up. Well, let me show you what happens if I do add some frames. So I'm going to highlight this, and make sure I got everything selected. I'm going to go F5, F5. So I got a whole bunch of planes. Well, now since, make sure I save it. There we go. Let's go Control Test. Oh, well, kind of worked, but not really. So what I want to do is I want to change the code so it says oh God, I hate used to be able to, there we go, highlight it. Now I'm going to go into my actions. There we go. And I'm going to put a single quote, and notice it ended that quote, and I'm going to go V, Control V. So I got my home. And let's see, what are the other names that I gave? Come on. About Me. Well, let's get rid of that. See Me. Save it. Control Test. So no matter how many frames I put in here, it is now looking for the label on that frame instead of the frame number. So I can keep adding frames to my heart's content. Now, with ActionScript right now, the only way that we really get this to work is we have to go to File, Publish Settings, and do a Win Projector. Because if we output it to SWF and HTML, what ends up happening is, did you work? Good. What ends up happening is that you get that little thing and our browser says, nope, sorry, can't do it. We don't like ActionScript anymore, which I can kind of understand that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and go ActionScript. Boom. Oh, yeah. Oh. So for the assignment, you're either going to do a Canvas one or an ActionScript one. I think Canvas is a little bit more fun, although it's a little bit trickier. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we will create another video, or I will create another video for you. Take care.